Hey guys, welcome back. We are now on Chapter 4 of Into the Wild for the original prophecy. We got me, we got Hazel, and yeah, I feel like we had different ideas about this, where I thought it was a pretty busy chapter, and you said you have like no notes.
Yes.
This seems to be happening a lot lately, I've noticed. I even have a grammar note in here, which is your thing. Okay
I don't know
then.
what to tell you.
Before we get into it, I can't help but notice there seems to be a lack of a tree that you told me was going to be here this video.
Would you believe me if I said my dog ate my homework?
I don't believe you have a dog.
Death by toddler.
You're calling your toddler your dog.
No.
I
Just
see.
thought,
She
everyone
she ate the
everyone
tree.
in school.
She ate the
Well,
tree.
I mean, we're at that stage.
Fair enough. I mean, I don't have a kid, but I think that is a decent excuse. Toddler ate my tree, you know. But yeah. So I will say, unfortunately, we only have one fan art this time. We need more fan art, guys. Come on, we need submit some stuff, please. But it is a special one because here it is. It is submitted by your niece. Fire Rose is what she's going by on here, but it's cute. I like it. Yeah,
It is very cute.
very pink kitty. Clearly, it's Rosetail. She's supposed to have a pinkish hue.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I think yeah, and the background matches.
Mhm.
It's obviously in the forest, so
Yeah.
obviously a clan cat.
But
I
yeah, but
love
we
it.
do appreciate. I try to get my nephews to draw something, but they don't understand like basic drawing skills yet. They can maybe color it in, but they definitely can't like actually draw shapes yet. So maybe one day. But
You should print
yes,
off one of the coloring pages.
I actually plan to do that. I'm gonna have them coloring it. I color in the page, and you gotta have your kid do one, and then we're going to like have all three of them be like, here they are, the kits of the
My kid's gonna
clans.
eat the crayon.
So I don't know what to say.
I'll just send in a photo of that.
Yeah, just submit a picture of what happened when you tried to get her to draw it.
That's obviously, it's abstract art and it's gonna be the log that nearly takes out one of the cats on the river. How about that?
Yes, it's gonna be like that Super Bowl commercial with like just a banana taped on a wall, and they're like, "Yeah, this is worth like 4 million or whatever." It's just it's the crayon. This is the artwork, not the
That was
picture.
an actual piece of art that actually sold for like some ridiculous amount of money like that.
I weep for humanity. But we'll go ahead and hop into it. So we're starting right off as soon as Ravenpaw busts into the camp and he declares that Redtail is dead. R.I.P. Redtail. The first thing I want to point out, they say that where's the exact word in here? We met 5 River Clan warriors beside the stream, not far from Sunning Rock. They knew they were going there for this mission. I know that they mentioned it before. Why did they only send 3 cats? No patrol is ever just 3 cats. I think they're like I mean, at least not normal ones. So they send 2 cats plus Ravenpaw. While you literally are hearing about how everyone's like sharing tongues and stuff in the camp, there were others they could send. It's not like they're like running low right now. They could have sent. They sent 2 cats to go pick up Rusty, Firepaw, but they can't send one of them to go help Redtail.
This is the battle that we see in the prologue, correct?
No, that is what
No.
leads to this battle. Because Mousefur's in that
Okay.
one.
Because I was gonna say like she was obviously there, so maybe there were other cats that just got sent back, but no.
No, because that happened. That's when RiverClan wins Sunning Rocks, and then this is what do we say, a quarter moon later or something like that. That this happens. Because that's why Blue Star is like, hey, is Melsifer going to be okay when she sees the prophecy? Because it's later on.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just I don't understand why they. I mean, obviously it's because if they sent others, they would have seen Tiger Claw kill Redtail, but like I just don't get it. This is kind of Blue Star's fault. She should have sent more cats. She could have gone herself.
Then she'd be dead too.
Probably. She's got, I think, 3 lives at the moment. But yeah, it was just, it was like a weird thing that kind of bugged me. And then they say Redtail warned Oakheart to keep his hunting parties out of ThunderClan territory. He said the next RiverClan warrior to be caught in ThunderClan territory would be killed. That's, I believe, against the warrior code to kill. Oakheart is, or Redtail is straight up threatening to kill another cat, which is against the code. Like chased off, attacked, whatever. But you're the whole thing is they're not supposed to kill cats. You fight to win. You don't fight to kill. Correct?
I don't remember, but I'm not gonna say that's wrong
I know
because
it's
this theme
definitely a
comes
big
up
thing
a
later on
lot.
because they, or at least it's not considered what's the word? Jeez, there's a hair. It's not considered like I don't want to say
Kosher.
sportsmanship because this is like good sportsmanship because this is like their lives, but
It would
like
be a taboo.
yeah, it just this is not something that they are supposed to do. You're not supposed to kill a cat. It happens, yes, but like they always are shocked by it, kind of thing.
When did it get so long? Um, Defend your clan even with your life. Do not hunt or trespass another clan's territory. Elders, queens sick or injured, and kids must be fed before apprentices and warriors. Prey must be killed only to be eaten. A kit must be 6 moons old to become an apprentice. Newly appointed warriors must keep a silent vigil. Cats cannot be made deputy without having mentored at least one apprentice. That one I did not know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the deputy will become clan leader when the leader dies, retires, or is exiled. After the death, retirement, promotion to a leader status, or exile of deputy, new deputy must be chosen before moon high. All gathering of the 5 clans are held at the full moon. Boundaries must be checked and marked daily. No trespassing. Challenge trespassing cats. No warrior can neglect a kit in pain or danger, even if the kit is from a different clan. The word of the clan leader is the warrior code. An honorable warrior does not need to kill other cats to win their battles unless they are outside of the warrior code or if it is necessary for self defense. So,
So he's doing a very dishonorable thing by threatening that.
yeah, but I would also argue that they are outside of their territory, which makes them outside of the warrior code.
They're in their territory
Redtail is threatening River Clan cats that if they're
because they're
caught
trying
in
to get back their
Thunder
own
Clan
territory.
territory.
Yeah. I don't know, like even if a cat intrudes, like they fight all the time. That's the whole point of fighting. It's because there's like normally an invasion happening of some sort, but they don't kill for it. Or I don't know. It just bugs me that Redtail, who is supposed to be this very honorable cat, threatens that.
Yeah,
It
keep that in
changes
mind
later
when we get
on.
to the next
It's
book.
just something I think they don't think too much about right now.
No, and like I said, like keep that in mind when we get to Fire and Ice, because that'll be
Yeah.
we'll revisit this in detail.
Yes. And then Ravenpaw he's trying to explain it, and he passes out. If he could just hold on a little bit longer, half of the book would have, or half of the series wouldn't have happened. But instead, he passes out. I'm wondering, do you think he actually would have said what really happened here?
No, I think most of it was okay. So like,
Because at this point,
here's
Tiger Claw's not there, and that's why he's scared. Because of Tiger Claw.
yeah, but here's kind of like my like going theory. I don't think that he got injured in battle with the Ravenclaw cats. I think it was Tiger Claw that injured him, which is what kind of like shut him up and like why he ran in and said like Redtail like threatened to kill these other cats and blah blah blah, even though Redtail's supposed to be extremely honorable. And that's why Blue Star chose him. Um, and I also think that he totally like faked passing out, and just kind of like slid. Like, was it like it basically says like, you know, he kind of like half slid, half like scrambled down the rock,
Yeah.
um, before he collapsed on the ground. I think he did that because he knew Tiger Claw was about ready to come back into the camp.
Um, I'm checking something real quick. Because he describes the battle later on. I guess he doesn't. I feel like in another, maybe in Fire and Ice or one of them, he goes and talks to Ravenpaw. And I think Ravenpaw mentions being injured in battle. Because I know he sneaks back and he sees Tiger Claw kill Redtail, and then he books it. So I don't think Tiger Claw did it. I think he would have 100%, but Ravenpaw got away too fast. I think. I had to double check. I mean, it's possible. I just feel like at some point, I
Yeah.
think they mentioned him fighting another cat, and the cat hurts him. As I don't totally remember. It's been a while since I've read the main series, and we haven't got that far, but we'll see.
I was
But
gonna
yeah,
say I
I feel
don't
like I think God, I can't decide if he actually would have. I go back and forth on if he would have said something because I feel like
I
at this
don't
point Tiger Claw's not there, so he might feel brave enough to be like, "Hey, this just happened," kind of thing. Whereas once Tiger Claw gets there, he's too scared to do anything.
I don't remember what book it's in that they go to the gathering. I guess it would be this one
When he's talking to the
because
other
that's where he's
apprentices, yeah,
talking.
he leaves at
Yeah.
the end of this one, so it is this one. I just looked at it. He describes it, but he he said he fought off a huge warrior, some squealing to the bushes.
I just wonder if all of it was like a like Freudian slip, I guess is a good like like he's kind of like trying to hold to what he basically was coaxed into saying. 'Cause Tiger Claw obviously knows that he knows. All I
Uh,
hear is that TikTok song.
Gosh, when is it that he sneaks out to go ask Ravenpaw exactly what happened? You're on Fire and Ice. Has that happened yet?
Yes.
It's at the very beginning, right? Like as soon as they become warriors,
Mm, no.
or is it? It's after they get WindClan back.
Yes. I thought it
Uh,
happens at the barn, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So like they brought WindClan back. They're not quite to the territory yet. They sleep over in the barn, and that's when he's out with Ravenpaw and the apprentices from WindClan.
I think it's the what time I'm thinking of. I think is in Forest of Secrets because he sneaks up. They leave a gathering and it's just him and Greystripe, and they go there to talk to Ravenpaw about exactly what happened. I'm pretty sure it's Forest of Secrets because I think it's the same time he around the same time he finds out about Blue Star's kids.
Um,
I mean, again, we'll get
you
to it
are
when we.
right.
Okay, I remember that happening, and he describes being attacked, but I don't remember if he says when he was hurt.
There's a Warriors Wiki thing on it, but it does answer the question, why does Fireheart see Ravenpaw in Forest of Secrets? And it's to find out more about the Sunning Rocks battle when Redtail died because he doesn't trust Tiger Claw.
Okay, yeah, I mean we're
Um,
nowhere near that book, but
yeah.
it just Ravenpaw's whole like wishy-washy with the story is going to come up a lot in here, so just keep that in mind because he drives me crazy and like how he acts throughout the first like 3 books because he changes the story every time he tells it to the point that's really hard to figure out exactly what's the truth. So you pretty much have to figure it out by other cats also telling the story. I don't know, it's weird, but I do think it's I'm wondering if Longtail decently was hurt because Spotted Leaf doesn't come out to help until Golden Flower calls her, and you like everyone freaked out the second Ravenpaw busted in. He's bleeding all over the place, and the medicine cat is just hanging out in her den. I mean, I know she's in there because of Longtail, but you'd think she'd be like, "Hey, this is an actual emergency, not a cut ear. Let me go help him."
Maybe she's just oblivious. I don't know.
I guess.
It wasn't Firepaw who was hurt, so
Yes, that is true. You said you had something about Golden Flower being the one to help him, right?
no, I just had a question about that because she's not his mom, so like I
No, I
don't
think it's just
really
because he's
understand like
young and
why.
she is a mom kind of thing. Like if you saw a kid, like an actual kid, like fall and get hurt on a playground, as a parent, you're gonna want to still go over there and help them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it's just that maternal
yeah,
instinct.
that
Cause
makes
his,
sense.
I don't remember who his mom is. Oh, and I have it written down. It's
I looked it up and forgot to write it down.
his mom is Robin Wing, so she's
Yeah,
already dead. But yeah,
maybe that's why.
yeah. But like everything around this battle drives me crazy. Cause even cats don't normally hide how other cats die. Like they'll just like yeah, green cough or from battle or whatever. Oakheart's death in this is pretty easy to prove. He was crushed. RiverClan knows it. They say they like dug his body out and he was crushed by rocks, kind of thing. If they just said that at the gathering, like again, this would just like why is Tiger Claw even claiming that he killed Oakhart in this? Because he's like, oh yeah, Oakhart killed Redtail and I killed Oakhart in revenge. But they know how Oakhart died. He was crushed. He was not killed by another warrior. So again, like any sort of communication and you'd like it would throw shade at Tiger Claw. He just does not think this whole thing through. Like so much of this drives me crazy.
I mean, there are like illusions, like I think it's in the next chapter. It might be in one of the next two chapters, but they talk about long alliances are bad or something like that. Basically like be careful what you say to other clans, like you can't really trust and
I mean,
stuff. So
yeah, it just
maybe it's
doesn't
just
seem like
like
that much of a weakness. Like he didn't die in battle. He was crushed. Like yeah, he did not he was not killed by another cat. That sounds like a good thing. Like it was an accidental death, not that ThunderClan bested us. Right?
yine. I feel like it's
I feel
not
like
an
I'd be telling
honorable
everyone.
like,
Well, yeah, but like it's still accidental.
but I also feel
Do you
like
know how
Tiger Claws.
cats are killed by trees all the time? They're crushed by trees, and they probably would explain that. But crushed by rock, no.
I mean, I feel like Tiger Claw probably didn't go around boasting about it. Like, it's probably something that, like, especially at the gathering, like, it's going to be one of those subjects that's like, yeah, don't bring that up.
Yeah, but I mean, Ravenpaw does. He's literally describing the battle to other apprentices there. Gosh.
Touche.
Yep.
Uh, there's a lot of issues with this.
Yes, it's very much first book problems. Like they think about this stuff a lot more later on, and there's not as many plot holes. There's just so many with this entire thing that it, like, Spotted Leaf could have, gone to StarClan, talked to Redtail, and been like, "Yeah, no, Tiger Claw killed me." Like, it's that simple. Ugh. StarClan might not interfere actually, but still, it bugs me. And
Yeah, I was
then
gonna say, I feel like StarClan, like, we know StarClan doesn't really want to interfere and stuff, so.
yeah, It just doesn't feel like it's interfering at that point. He's just literally being like, "How'd you die?" I mean, I guess she wouldn't ask because right now they don't doubt it. But I don't know.
Mm,
Um, like even then, you think Blue Star, when she shares tongues with StarClan, would see her fallen deputy, and he wouldn't say anything. Like, gosh.
I mean, that would change the trajectory
Yeah, I mean, I
of
guess all this has to
everything.
happen for Firestar's big arc to happen.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
probably
it's a problem with
why.
destiny and like prophecies and stuff because like a prophecy is always going to happen, maybe just not in the way you think. So prophecies are a pain. Um, and then everyone's going up and like grooming and saying praises to Redtail and everything, and Firepaw's like, "What are they doing? Like they're mourning. Duh. What do you mean? What are they doing?" I feel like that's pretty obvious. And then Gray Stripe or Gray Paw describes like tells him what StarClan is and all that, and Firepaw's instantly converted. No hesitation. He's like, "Yep, this is what I believe in now." hmm
I mean, it might, like, to him, it might explain, like, he might actually be able to, like, put two and two together, like, the dreams and stuff like that. I think he
Yeah,
does later what she goes this book to share tongues with Starkland. He does put two and two together. Yeah, it is
I,
this book because Ravenpaw's there.
probably. Yeah, I barely remember that chapter, but yeah, start. It's just weird that he's instantly is converted. And then they
Yeah,
say
like,
silver pelt, which is the thick swath of stars in the sky, and every star is a cat who's passed on. Um, just a nice thing to think about. And they never really mention it again.
yes.
They're just like StarClan, the sky. They never really talk about silver pelt that much. It's actually
It never
also a
does.
legit warrior name, silver pelt. Like I could see a cat being named that.
That would be awkward if we come across that, like, and be kinked out
Yeah,
and be like, oh, it's a dead cat.
it is.
And call him the dead man walking.
Did you have anything for this section there?
I didn't. My biggest thing was like the Raven paw thing, but yeah, I've said my piece on that. Like, there's something just weird about his character throughout.
Yeah,
Just like, it'll make more sense when I read. Is it his story, Barley's side story?
the I haven't read that one. Are you talking about the Ravenpaw's farewell one?
Yeah,
I know that takes place when he dies, so it's a long time from now. I just don't know if it starts like back here. I haven't read it. Um,
I'm sure it'll help tie things together a bit more.
yeah,
Uh,
I hope so.
but no, other than that, like, obviously the whole having to explain everything that should be fairly obvious.
Yeah, there's a lot of explaining in this one, which I mean I get you have to do it because we don't. They're words we don't know, so
Yeah, I'm pushing
we
the
don't know
plot
who
along.
StarClan is. It's like that's kind of a big thing. He literally describes StarClan in like one sentence. Like their big like afterlife, their religion, everything is just like one sentence. It's kind of interesting.
Oh, that was one thing that I thought was kind of odd. And I just wanted like what your opinion was on it. Was like he does say like each star is a Star Clan warrior. Redtail will be among them tonight, and yet everyone like sits with his body overnight. So if
I mean, his
they believe that
spirit kind of
Redtail is
thing.
there, yeah. Like why are they sitting with the body overnight?
I mean, I guess just to say goodbye, kind of thing.
That's
It's like a
sad.
funeral. Yeah, they're saying goodbye to him. If you just like discarded his body right away, that'd be kind of messed up. I think they just want to like accept that he's gone by actually seeing him gone.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's kind of like an open casket per se. Very dark to think about, but yes.
Yeah.
But like the crazy back to the Ravenpaw thing real quick. This last thing I'll say about it. But let's say he did come out right then and there and be like, Tiger Claw killed Redtail. If he
Who's
just
gonna believe him?
so that's the thing. At this point, I think Blue Star is sane enough that she'd at least be like, okay, I will consider the idea even if I don't believe it. And then she would have a reason to ask Redtail how he died. Even Spotted Leaf could. I think Spotted Leaf's his sister, so you think she'd want to
She
know?
is.
Yeah, like she could have gone when she goes every quarter moon or whatever and asked. So you think like if he mentioned it, even if they don't believe him, they would have reason to ask Redtail's spirit how he died.
Would he be able to answer that though?
I think so. I don't see why not. It's possible he wouldn't talk to them, but if he was there, I think he would say something. I don't know. Let us know what you think, because Redtail's death and the fact that no one knows how he died for so long always drives me crazy.
I feel like we should like revisit this in a separate video and like actually do like a full on speculation about that.
Yeah.
Like I'd be down
Make
for that.
Redtail's death make sense. A whole video about it. And Ravenpaw. Um,
Yeah, that too. Yeah.
this is my one grammar thing, which I guess it's not really grammar, it just kind of bugs me. The fact that Dustpaw is described as a striped tabby. Tabby is stripes. Like,
But
so
some
a
people might
striped
not be
tabby.
familiar with like cat.
I mean, I
Like
guess, but like, I don't think they've
I
done it for
didn't
any other cat. They're just like, yes, he's a striped tabby. Be like, he's a spotted Dalmatian. Like, it just, I don't know.
but in all fairness, not everyone grows up with pets, and then not only that, not everyone um definitely not everyone grows up with like a cat or a dog, you know? Like
Yeah.
I didn't have growing up. My neighbors did.
Well, so everyone knows if you don't know, tabby is a striped cat. If you got a cat with stripes, that is a tabby. So now everyone knows. We're not repeating this ever again. Striped tabby is just redundant.
Like saying ATM machine.
Yes. Or this my one of my stepsister's cousins used to say this all the time and it drove me crazy. I'm just JKing. Like, just JK means just kidding. You're saying I'm just kidding. Like, it drove me crazy. But yes, redundancy. Don't like it. If anyone ever meets me in public and you say you're just JKing, oh, words are gonna fly.
I can't wait till I visit.
Thanks.
You should have never told me.
I'll remember this. I'll find something you can't stand. Uh, where were we?
Hey,
They because I know you asked about this. Like, I don't know if his last video or the one before, but they do say Ravenpaw has always been a bit jumpy, but I think he just drastically takes a nosedive off the cliff into coward territory because of this. But he's always been a bit jumpy. Just he'd never had like to fear that his mentor is going to murder him at any point, kind of thing. Which makes you go from like nervous to terrified. Mm-hmm. So yes, it does say that. Beep beep
okay.
beep beep. Where were we? Um. So I kind of like think this is kind of funny where Spotted Leaf is just saying like, yeah, he's gonna be fine. He just needs to rest, and then immediately Tiger Claw's like, come on, get up. So it's like he's actively hoping Ravenpaw dies and is trying to get him killed by like just he needs to rest so he survives. Okay, I need you to get up right now. Like, I need you to rip that thing open and bleed out, please. It's messed up, but that's pretty much what he's doing here.
Like I said, like he knows that he knows, so it's like, all right, like time to off you, and he'll spend what the rest of at least this book trying to kill him.
Yes. Never
Um,
again, though.
such
I
a
kind of wish, like, at some point when Ravenpaw's, like, a brave, good cat, he had another face off with Tiger Claw. Like, even when, like, they're fighting Blood Clan, if Tiger Star at that point, like, notices him and just has, like, some, like, quick interaction, I really wish that happened.
that would have been awesome.
Yeah, because like Ravenpaw could have like finally redeemed himself with like some mighty Like, I'm not afraid of you anymore, Tiger Claw. Like, I'm gonna do what I should have done all those seasons ago, or I don't know, just something like inspirational. It would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we have the whole thing where, you know, they're talking to Raven Pie as he's laying there, and Spotted Leaf is trying to work on him. She's like, "Go away," or "Go away, both of you," because she doesn't want distractions. But she's treating him literally in the middle of the clearing, where there's like a dead body there, and everyone's in the clearing mourning. Like, why don't you just bring him back to your den? You're not gonna
Because
get
she's
privacy
got to
there.
stop the bleeding.
Yeah, just seems like she should have. Like, he's awake at this point. Move him. She could have asked Tiger Claw to carry him over there. He could have accidentally broken his spine. Sorry. Like, so many possibilities.
That would have ended a lot of things a lot faster.
Rip Ravenpaw.
Poor
Um,
Ravenpaw.
let's see. So before we get into
I feel like
Greypaw's tour, do you? He's a what?
he's also a very hollow character. I feel like Ravenpaw, Redtail, even Tiger Claw to some extent, like they're all like very like I didn't get the reward that I was looking for reading about them. I
Later
did.
on, I like Ravenpaw a lot more. I'm not a big fan of him in book one, but he's a cool dude later.
I just wanted to point out the whole like Firepaw's like, oh, should we go over and like join everybody? I don't really want to, but I'm not gonna say anything about it. Like, oh no.
He's just,
It's
I
more
mean,
for
he's
people who
trying to do
actually
like
know.
the right thing.
But it was just like, why offer if you don't want to do it?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to fit in and doesn't want to be disrespectful by not going. But at the same time, it almost seems disrespectful to go because it's like you didn't know this guy. Like, I mean, yes, it's sad, but it's you don't know him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna show up some random person. Well, that was a bit of an odd story, but I walked into the wrong wake one day.
Oh,
Anyways, that was a bit awkward. I was like, in the wrong spot.
yeah, that would
But
be very awkward. I agree. Never done
other
that.
than that,
I did
not gonna walk into the
accidentally.
wrong.
True story. I went to a. I'm not gonna say who or anything, but I went to a funeral, and didn't realize, cause went and my sister and I were like, like crying and everything, and we went to the bathroom, came back out, didn't realize that the dress I was wearing had tucked into the back of my underwear. So as I'm walking through this church at this funeral, a very nice lady who worked at the church kind of came up and was like, put her arm around me. I was like, "Oh, that's so nice." I'm crying. She's comforting me, and she's like, "Honey, your dress is in your underwear." Like, oh, like it was so bad. But yeah, oh
If it makes
gosh. I will
if it
say
makes you
the person who it was is known to have a crush on me. So we kind of were like, well, maybe he thought it was funny because he liked me and my butt's out kind of thing. But yeah, gosh, it was so embarrassing. But I mean, it was one of those things where like sometimes you just need like a good laugh when you're bawling your eyes out, and that did it for a bit. So yeah.
that I've done that before, just not in that situation. I did so I
Not in a church at a
working
funeral. Yeah.
no, I worked as a flight attendant for what, almost like 10 years or something like that, and like I accidentally tucked my skirt into my pantyhose.
Ugh.
Yeah, cuz mine the back of it was a flap.
So you
And
were
it
the
got
stereotypical
tucked.
flight attendant, is what I'm hearing.
I think I was walking through Charlotte that day actually. I was just trying to go home, but
Yep, it happens to the best of us.
awkward
Uh,
moment. So we spotted leave.
so cats. um, they go after this and describe Blue Star's den, which the way I pictured it, I have an image made. Okay, I'm gonna put it up on the screen, but I can show you after. I can't show you yet. But pretty much, I
That was
picture
super
like
quick.
rock with like a hole kind of thing, because they're on
Mhm.
top of the rock, and then there's like a
Mhm.
hole with like just like a little cave kind of thing.
Right.
So they say it was carved out many moons ago by an ancient stream. For one thing, they're already in like whatever a gorge. I forgot the word they used to describe it, but like a hollow in the ground. Like it's already a divot down.
Mhm.
Then we have this mini cave. How does the camp, let alone Blue Star's den, not flood every time it rains?
Because the
They're in a
streams
hole.
run off, so in groundwater and stuff like that. But that like rock and the hole underneath the rock, I think I now better understand like what it probably looks like, but filled with water.
I mean, there's not water anymore. It was an ancient
Yeah,
stream, so it's not there. Like, there's no water in there anymore. But like,
yeah,
yeah, it
but
just
like when you're like I don't know, just like an odd kind of tidbit, like when you go like whitewater rafting and stuff like that, they tell you if you like fall into the river. This is not advice for anybody because I'm sure it's changed. When I went, they told me if I fell into the river, I should go down feet first, and with my toes kind of like pointed and stuff like that, but like don't stand up because if you stand up too close to one of the big rocks, there's like gaps underneath them, like cave type holes that you could get sucked into and just get like stuck there and no one can get you out.
that's
Uh
terrifying. I hate
yes, that's
whitewater
probably what
rafting.
she actually
Last time I went,
said.
I broke my foot and twisted an ankle. So, and Rappahannock River, like back in Virginia where we used to live. Yep, I went once. My friend was trying to cheer me up because I'd gone through a really bad breakup, and she was like, "Hey, let's have some drinks and go like floating down the river." Okay, that sounds fun. Like I got to get out of the house. Got to get over this. And for one thing, you're supposed to sit in the tube with your feet up. So
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Okay, I kept slipping and stuff, and I was worried about like flipping over. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna keep my feet down. Which bad idea. My feet still have scars from smacking into all the rocks. But then after we got out, we were walking up this hill, and my friend dropped his like a portable Bluetooth speaker thing and started rolling towards the water. So I went to run to grab it because I was closest. Stepped in like a rabbit hole of some sort, so my foot went straight, broke, and then because it hurt so much, I tried to pull back. I twisted my ankle. I have pictures of it. It's bad. Like my entire foot was swollen.
I think you sent me photos that day.
Probably because it was so bad. But yeah, whitewater rafting not fun for me.
I assumed you did that like on the water. Like you went like when you told me you went tubing, I thought you were hooked up to a boat.
Oh no, we were just floating down in tubes, kind of thing. Like luckily back then I was a toothpick. Like I barely weighed anything, but someone had to give me a piggyback to the car because I couldn't walk. Like my foot was purple and oh, it was so bad.
You're
I got
literally
home
banned
and
from the
just
outdoors.
sat in a chair like this kind of thing to move myself around the house, and my friend had to take off a week to come like take care of me, pretty much. Like, oh, it was a good time. Um, let's see. So, warriors sleep under a bush. I never pictured that for some reason, but yes, it's just a big bush. They sleep under it.
Is
Uh,
it like a bush that's like hollowed underneath or
they say it is a thorn bush with low hanging branches. So when I googled it, it almost looks like thorn bush is more of like one of those like gnarled looking trees kind of thing, and the branches are just hanging down and forming like a hollow area.
oh,
Yeah,
that makes more sense.
that's how I imagine it. I would say that's more of a tree than a bush, but whatever.
Well, shrub.
Yes. Um, then we have the queens sleep near the nursery, not in it. Not
And
really
a
sure.
nest near.
They stay in a nest near the nursery. So like maybe it's just once they have kits they go in there, but like I don't
I
know.
thought that they swapped out, like that was the whole point, like they swap off care, blah blah blah. So like each one of them, because they're nursing, it doesn't really matter. They take turns like nursing all of the kids.
I think that's just
That
something they changed later on because they don't do that later. They're all just in there. I don't
I
know,
don't know.
but maybe it's just a weird phrasing thing that I'm just not getting. And then elders sleep under a fallen tree. That would make sense, like a little grassy area under the tree. Unless the tree, which happens constantly in the series, falls and crushes them.
It's a terrible image to have in your head.
Just like four, I think there's like 4 or 5 elders, and they're just sleeping there, and then tree. Mm-hmm. Huh. Why trees? Why?
Poor Patch Pelt.
Let's see. As we get, I have a note on One Eye, but we're going to get into that when I do my breakdown of every cat mentioned in here. So don't worry about her yet. And they do mention Blue Star's kids. I think this is the first time because Fireheart by that point remembers like Dappletail or someone mentioning them or Dappletail. Oh yes, it was not long after she lost her kids. So Dappletail's the first one to mention that Blue Star had kids, and Firepaw doesn't even think about it, and I don't think thinks about it again until Forest of Secrets. I believe.
Huh.
Yeah. Anything from before that you have?
No, it was more
You're
the
killing me.
I'm sorry, it was the funny exchanges and stuff like that, but you basically covered like all of like the camp and whatnot. Like,
Yeah.
you draw a picture for you real quick.
I'm trying to make put like the detailed description in like AI to get like what it would actually look like. So it's a slow process, but I'm slowly getting there. Ba 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 ba.
I do appreciate the fact that they shared prey with the
The youngins.
apprentices. Yeah. Not that they wouldn't have gotten something to eat, but
Yeah. They could have also just gone. It's kind of funny because they say that Sandpaw and Dustpaw hunted it, so they're eating Sandpaw and Dustpaw's prey, even though like they don't like them at this point.
do you blame anyone for not liking Sandpaw?
Well, I mean, they're eating their Sandpaw's prey, and Sandpaw doesn't like them. Like she'd be so annoyed
Oh.
if she knew that happened.
Oh yeah.
And then this is the thing we messed up. I mean, we corrected it last video, but the thing we were talking about for like 5 minutes without realizing that Darkstripe only becomes Dustpaw's mentor because Redtail died. We know that
Yes.
now, okay? Gosh, that drew like I literally spent like 2 hours trying to figure that out, and I can't believe I didn't realize it until mid recording last time. Do you
I can't
think?
believe I didn't catch on to it.
Yeah. Do you think Dustpaw would be different if he finished his training with Redtail rather than with Darkstripe? Because he's already kind of a jerk. So I don't think it's really much of Darkstripe's influence. Maybe he makes him more verbal about it. But I was just thinking about it because Redtail is apparently a good dude. He's willing
I
to
don't
kill cats, but still.
I don't necessarily think that I don't think that nurture wins over nature in
Well,
most
yeah, I
cases.
mean,
So
even then, like,
no.
Whitestorm is Sandpaw's mentor, and she's horrible, and Whitestorm's a great dude. I mean, she ends
And
up
he
being
calls her
good,
out for
but
it.
yeah, he
Does she
does.
get better? Because I
Oh, yeah. Do you
literally
think
cannot
she ends up
stand her.
being this horrible and Fireheart still takes her as a mate?
Mm,
If she gets a lot better.
yes. Yes, I
He
did
just has
actually.
really, really bad taste in cats.
But she's the only one who's interested.
Cinderpelt.
Medicine cat.
I have problems with Sandstorm, quite a few, but I approve of their relationship. I do think she is his better half, which is saying a lot.
I was gonna say, I think at the very end, I was actually reading something about like her death.
Yeah,
I think at the very end, she's
she's
redeemed.
very yeah. I mean, when I like I said, I'm reading Why can I never, every recording, remember what the series is called? It's not Long Shadows. A Vision of Shadows. And her death is actually, it's not sad, sad, but I wish she went out a different way. But we're nowhere near that series. Um, so this is kind of a speculation thing, which I'm not going to have all the details of until we get to something later on. Why do you think Sandpaw hates Kitty Pet slash Firepaw? There's even Tiger Claw seems like interesting, like yeah, we'll give you a shot kind of thing. But Sandpaw and Dustpaw hate him. So I'm
Are
just
they
like,
are they like half kitty pet?
not that I know of.
Was one of their like parent cats murdered by two legs or the
No,
Thunderpath? Or
nope.
maybe they're just prejudice in general.
I mean, I guess, but like, I don't know. She just seems to really hate him as if it's like personal for some reason. I get her hating him later when he becomes a warrior and she's still an apprentice. That makes sense to me. But why at this point does she hate it? Like, all I can think of is maybe it's something where she's like, not like, I guess in a way jealous because Blue Star is willing to take in a kitty pet because she doesn't think the cat she has is enough. So maybe she's taking it personally, like you're going to get a kitty pet when I'm here, kind of thing.
It's like a prideful, I'm better than you sort of a thing, just in
Yeah,
general. I mean, that's how I always took it, is like she
until he
just like,
saves her from the gorge, like when she almost falls off, she hates him, and it's like something about him saving her life. I mean, yes, that is a good reason to, change your mind. But until that point, yeah, she just can't stand him, and is actively like mean.
oh, it could just be like her upbringing, I guess, or like her nature, so to
So
speak. Like, I don't.
when we get to her breakdown, I have a potential theory on that. It's not a good theory, but maybe. Uh, but then we talk a lot about moss.
Yes.
So I had to do a lot of moss research.
Okay.
So moss keeps longest when it's moist. So, but they dry it out. They like pointedly say like if you sleep in a wet nest, you're gonna get like aching joints and stuff.
Yes.
So they have to constantly be changing out the mosses, like the moss in here, because it's everywhere. And like I'm just wondering like if it's practical because it takes weeks for moss to grow, and it can die in a matter of days. So they're just going through a ton of moss. Just some moss facts for you. Maybe they have somewhere they can grow it, kind of thing, like some shaded area where they just like rotate around. They just never really talk about it, and I just thought it was kind of impractical.
I kind of assumed that they were just like, like you can have moss that's alive and
Because it,
not
it is shady, so maybe
saturated.
they have it literally growing under there, kind of thing.
Yeah. Like
Like
it's
rather
just
than
it's not
ripping it, but yeah.
saturated. Cuz like I grow moss. So
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, like, if it's just naturally growing underneath these places and they're just, fluffing it up per se, that would make more sense than them going out into the woods every few days, ripping off a whole bunch of moss and bringing it back.
I'm sure there's like multiple different types of moss too that they use. Like I kind of assume it's like pincushion moss that they're using, but I don't know if that's native to the area where this takes place either.
Somewhere in
So
England, or UK. We also have a not a. It's hard to say. Apparently, cobwebs are actually decent if you have nothing else, because they, will stick kind of thing. I was just wondering if that is a practical thing. but
Yes.
it is decent. Like it's not obviously the best, but if you're in a forest and have nothing, it works. So that is technically our first herb mentioned, if we're gonna count that as an herb. It's not an herb, but like it's medicine cat. So we said we're gonna do like a counter of every medicine that's mentioned. So
I feel like
cobweb,
cobwebs are
one.
mentioned often.
Probably the most,
Um,
if I had to guess.
Possibly. Pincushion moss does grow in the UK, so it's most
Okay,
likely
so
pincushion.
makes sense. And then we have that Firepaw was a member of Thunder Clan. Look at him go. Oh, they grow up so fast. He
They do.
he got a new name. He witnessed a death. He adopted a new religion, all in one day.
I think that was like the biggest like for this chapter. It's like I would have such bad whiplash, like the culture shock going into like that first day. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot. Like he doesn't even like I don't like there's probably not a lot of time between the battle for his honor and like oh Redtail's dead. It's like
Well, even more crazy
oh
is they say that it's what they meet at Sun High when
mhm.
uh, and then they mention that by the time they're like that it's now night. So it seems like he got there, fought Longtail, then all of a sudden Ravenpaw shows up with a tiger claw with a dead cat, and then they do a quick tour, and then it's nighttime. They're going to sleep. Like that all happened in like 5 6 hours apparently, but it seems like it all happened so fast. I don't know. Maybe it was a very long tour.
I'm sure there's like other like kind of like off off script sort of things that went on, like longer
Yeah,
conversations than, yeah, he didn't think he was gonna show, blah blah blah. Like,
yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they really slowly ate that mouse with the elders
I mean, it was his first mouse. He could have been savoring it. I savor my food.
for 5 hours.
We all know I eat slow.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair
My
enough.
superpower.
But before our character breakdown, do you have any closing notes?
My biggest closing note was the fact that I really appreciated that the characters that are not like super main characters added a lot to this chapter compared to like a lot of the other chapters that we're gonna get
Yeah,
into.
there's a whole bunch of like characters that I think Sandpaw is like the only and Dustbar the only like ones who are on my list that no offense to the elders, but that matter. It's like it's all elders. It's like except for them two, it's my entire list.
I really appreciated the elders though because they made me
Yes.
laugh. It's
They
like
they have their moments.
I think your hearing's getting just as bad as your sight. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
shots fired.
It's what Small Ear says that, right?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that
to
makes
one
sense.
eye.
Yeah. Small
I
Ear
hate
we
those
already did because
names.
Small Ear has the best hearing or best nose in the entire clan.
Yeah, I
But
really do hate those names.
yes. Especially One Eye. Like they like her name was Wide Eye and that was fine and they literally changed it to One Eye. That's just so messed up.
Half tail.
Yep. But we have first off Dustpaw, who becomes Dustpelt. His parents are Robin Wing and Fuzzy Pelt, your favorite cat. His sisters are Brindleface and Frostfur. His brother is Ravenpaw, and his half brother is Longtail. So, super
It's so
tragic.
weird.
Out of the 7 kits he has fathered, only one of them is still alive in the series. Everyone else is dead. 2 of them died as kits, 1 died as an apprentice, 3 died as as warriors. He starts out being huge jerk to Firepaw because he likes Sandpaw and Sandpaw likes Fireheart Paw, whatever. So that's why. Um, Vicky, one of the writers, said that him and Ferncloud's relationship is like, that perfect relationship of, oh, cats meet, cats fall in love, cats have a whole bunch of babies kind of thing. So she came up with horrible ways to kill off his kits to make their relationship more interesting. It's so sad. But yeah, like I said, only one, Birchfall, is the only one that's still alive out of all of them.
Wow.
Yep.
Savage.
It's so mean. Like, his Dustpelt ends up being a good dude later on. I mean, he still has an attitude, but he's a very loyal warrior. Then we have a Halftail, who used to be called Sparrowpelt, and they changed his name after his tail was bitten off by a badger.
Very large name change.
Yes. His mate is One Eye, and I like to think it's something kind of cute where one of them had their name changed and the other was just like, oh, you know what? Change mine too, so they're not the only one. Like they did it for their mate kind of thing, which I think makes
Oh.
it more cute. And
That's a good, yeah.
yeah, their two kits are Mousefur and Running Wind. Which I realized before I said something about trying to ship them. I didn't know they were brother and sister. My bad. It's a good thing that explains why they never dated. Halftail was the mentor to Redtail. And yeah, that's really all I have on him too. There's not
I'm
much for these
surprised.
guys.
I'm surprised they don't mention him going over to sit the vigil with Redtail then.
Do you really think they thought of that way back then?
I'm just saying, for like plot
Well,
purposes.
yeah, just you don't most likely until they wrote Blue Star's Prophecy, they didn't think of this. So, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah. Then we
makes
have One Eye, who used to be named White Eye. Her parents are Hair Pounce and Stagleap. Her sister is Speckletail. Okay, this is a thing that is wrong about this series, and I noticed it. Her mentor was Small Ear, and yet it says she is the oldest cat in ThunderClan. Not oldest she cat, oldest cat, because it says Small Ear is the oldest Tom. That is not true, because Small Ear was her mentor, so he was older. And in the graphic novel, the Prophecy Begins Volume 1, they fixed that. So they were aware of the fact that it was wrong. Another thing they say that is wrong is they describe in here that one of her eyes is like milky white, like it cataracts kind of thing. But it's really like that was how she looked. She lost that eye. That's why she's now one eye. And again, it's another thing they fixed later on. But yeah, it's not that she has one working eye. She had one working eye. She lost the eye that was blind, and now she only has one eye. So yes, that is one eye.
uh,
Um, then we have Dappletail, who is the daughter of Rainfur and Windflight. Windflight was that cat we said last video. Or I think was last video. One of the videos where we wanted to figure out who Windflight was. Um, they're a half ThunderClan, half WindClan cat who was raised in ThunderClan. So anyone related to Windflight has WindClan blood. Her brothers were Tawny Spots and Thrushpelt. Her half sisters are Sweetpaw and Rosetail. Her half brother is Thistleclaw. Her mate is Running Wind. She's old. He's young. This is weird, but okay. Like, it's I've checked in like 4 different areas, and all of them say this. It's not like it's a one-time thing.
okay,
Yep.
it's a
Um,
cat.
her kits were Cricket Kit and Feather Kit, which I believe are fan named kits because I could not find them actually named anywhere. So I think they're again they knew she had kits, so they named them something. Feather Kit is evidently because in Most Dangerous Path, Dappletail says that she had a kit that was a white kit with blue eyes who was born deaf and was taken by a fox. So they're saying that's Feather Kit. But she had another kit that was taken away by a predator of some sort because it was born deaf. Um, her mentor was Windflight, who is her father. Not normally
Proud
allowed,
dad.
but yeah. And her apprentice was Goldenflower. So I'm going to mention this other fact, but not go into detail about it because it's part of my theory. In Dangerous Path, she said when she was describing losing her kit, I forgot the exact wording, but she says something about like one of my first litters had a kit that white kit with blue eyes that was taken by a predator. One of her first litters, meaning she at least had two, bare minimum. You think three because it's not first litter, first litters, but bare minimum she's had two litters. So that's Dappletail. Then we get to Sandpaw. The only notes I have about her is me trying to figure out who her parents are because it's not anywhere. So I have three different possibilities. Two of them I think I have said no longer work. I think I'm going with the third one. And at some point, I kind of want to make a legit long video about this where we speculate.
Okay.
So the first one I had was just the mom, and it's a big stretch in this one. I know is not it because when I did family tree genealogy it doesn't work. But I was almost wondering if it was Leopardfoot, who is Tiger Claw's mom. So before we get into the fact that that's weird, the only reason I said it was for one thing, she has green eyes. So does Sandstorm. Not too big. Like genetics normally don't matter too much in here. But it would explain Sandstorm's attitude or Sandpaw's attitude towards uh Firepaw because Leopardfoot's mate was Pine Star, who left the forest to become a kitty pet. So even though he wouldn't be Sandpaw's dad, it would her mom obviously would have been peeved about that. It would have enforced this mindset into her kids, kind of thing. So it was a maybe thing I was thinking until I realized that would mean that if Tiger Claw's her half brother, Tiger Claw's son and her daughter are mates, they're cousins, and they wouldn't do that. So I marked that one off. I just thought it was like an interesting thing about like maybe that's where she gets her hatred towards kitty pets.
Okay.
So then I had this one I'm still thinking is a maybe for the mom, but I have Rosetail, the one elder that, is mentioned once ever when she dies.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
Mostly because Rosetail is the daughter. No. Yes. Shoot. Hold on. Let me double check this. I might have it wrong. Hold on. Uh say something.
I have nothing to hold on to. Should I hold on to you?
Yes. I just want to double check this because I'm now doubting myself even though I did a ton of research today.
Scary when you doubt yourself.
Well, I realize
Load faster.
this actually makes more sense if I'm reading this correct.
Okay.
Rosetail. Yes, okay. For some reason, I was thinking Rosetail was Dappletail's daughter, but they're sisters. Meaning Rosetail's dad is Windflight, who is that Wind Clan cat, the half Wind Clan cat. So, Sandstorm is always described as being very fast and like one of the fastest cats in the clan, which Wind Clan is known for. She is also known for being a great tracker kind of thing. Another thing Wind Clan's good at because they have like the open area. She's also described constantly in the winter of having much thinner, shorter fur than Fireheart. Wind Clan. Like a lot about her makes sense if she is part Wind Clan. So the other thing about Rosetail is that she's like a white and ginger cat or something like that with a very thick ginger tail, which would explain why her Sandstorm's daughter, Squirrelflight, has a very thick ginger tail. She could have gotten it from her grandma. So it could have been something where Rose Tail, we don't know who the father is, but had Sandstorm and then retired. Because we don't know exactly how old she is. She's around the same age as the other cats, but I think it makes sense.
That that makes a lot more sense than leopard foot.
Yes, I mean I was only going with Leopardfoot because of the her attitude.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like maybe I don't know. I think originally I was like maybe Sunstar could have been her dad, but that it's not enough time. He dies way before she was born, so that wouldn't work. Like years I think before she's born. So I don't know who her dad is. Um
We'll figure it out. We'll do some sleuthing.
yeah. And then the other possibility I had was Dappletail and Running Wind being her parents. So it's the same thing. Dappletail and Rosetail have the same dad, so it's still the whole Wind Clan. All that still works. But with Running Wind, for one thing, he has green eyes. Might explain where she got the green eyes from. And he is a tabby, which might explain why Leafpool is a tabby, because both her parents are ginger cats and she's a brown tabby. So people are like, well, it's because Firestar's mom, Nutmeg, is a tabby cat. That's where she gets it from. That's why Princess is also a tabby. But vice versa, she could also get it from her maternal grandfather, kind of thing, which would have been Running Wind.
True.
And because they're sisters, they would still have the genetics of that thick, fluffy ginger tail. Because it's two sisters. Like I don't know. Like it just I'm thinking Dabbletail and Running Wind make the most sense to me because I don't know who the father would be if it was Rosetail. I cannot figure out who it would be. So when we do our speculation, we're gonna break down all of these.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Different clan cat.
I mean, yeah, it's so hard to figure out who it could be. Like I just wish they would say it. But I think it's got to be one of those two for the mom. It's just trying to figure out who the dad is. Okay, guys, sorry I'm back. I found out it was 63 degrees in here and I was shivering, so I had to grab a jacket. Yeah, I was so
Well, I'm
cold.
happy you're
I was
warm.
trying to talk and like I was aware of my voice shaking from being cold. You were saying.
Terrifying. No, so like I just a quick Google search. I don't know if we mentioned this at all. I think we did, but I could be wrong. But on Vicky's Facebook page, though it's not canonically confirmed, I think there is a reason behind that. It was mentioned that Sandstorm was born to Brindleface and Redtail.
So, I know in a video they explain or they mention that it didn't work out. At first, I assumed they were related, but I'm not seeing that. I think what the problem would have been is that. Oh, wait. Hold on. So, Brindleface's brothers are Ravenpaw and Dustpelt, but I don't think that. I had to figure out exactly why. I remember I watched something where they said that can't be true, and I assumed somehow they're related, but I'm not seeing that in here. We're gonna have to research and figure out why, because Redtail would make the most sense. I assumed it was Redtail until I remembered reading somewhere that they said that can't be correct. Um,
I guess there's also a like side book about Redtail called Redtail's Debt, where this is literally not mentioned at all.
Maybe that's why,
So
because it just never they would have said it. I'm trying to think of like a besides genetics, why he couldn't be her father. He's old enough. I don't think he has any kids, according to this. Correct. Correct. He does not have any. Um, no, cause
it would be an interesting deep dive.
yeah, cause I'm just curious why they said it couldn't be that. Cause when I first researched, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, I'm fine with that. But why wouldn't they confirm it? Like it's been taken back, kind of thing. Like they redacted it. It's not on the official family tree even, and the authors made that.
Yeah. I mean, this is, it's one of those questions that seems like it burns through many minds, especially on the Warrior Cats Reddit. Um, so we will get into that. We will get to the bottom of this and figure out who her parents actually are.
Like this is saying literally the only there's no concrete evidence within the books to support his claim. Essentially, it's considered a retcon detail from earlier versions of the story, where Sandstorm's parents were not definitively established, because the official family tree does not list him as her father. That's the only thing saying that against it is that they didn't put it in the family tree. Yeah, it's like,
Hmm.
um, I mean, another, I guess, according to this, it would also make Squirrelflight and Brambleclaw second cousins, but that's a kind of really deep. Jeez, I'd have to look into that. I don't know. I'm not sure why it couldn't be.
We'll trace the trees and look. I mean, like, obviously, like,
Yeah, because his
this other.
sister is Leopardfoot, who is Tiger Claw's mom. So yeah, that would make them second cousins, but I mean, so are I'm pretty sure Dustpelt and Ferncloud are cousins or something like that.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of, and then like the family trees. I'm sure like the further you go into the series, it gets like more messed up.
Yeah, I think that's why they actually start taking in a lot of like kitty pets and loners and tribe cats and all sorts of stuff, so that they could have it more diverse.
Yeah,
Yeah, it gets kind of murky area
iffy.
with some of this. Yeah, but we'll figure it out eventually. Do you have any final notes
Mind-breaking
before we get to
question.
our new clan cats?
Um, let's see. Were there any final notes? No. I'm looking forward to the series picking up a bit more now that we're gonna continue further
Yes.
in.
You were not
We
having
got
a blast
through.
with Smudge Star, and
I
they
feel
did mention the dirt place in here, so we are keeping up with them saying dirt every chapter, except for the first, the prologue.
I feel like we've basically gotten through the majority of the we have to do the painful setup portion of the things, and now it's going to get into the actual like meat of the story. I think I just listened to the next like uh, 4 chapters today, so like including this, been 5 chapters. Um, but it does
I'm up to
definitely pick up.
Outcast in Power of Three.
Well, that's very nice. I stopped reading ahead so that I would stop talking about things that are further ahead in the future.
Well,
Um,
it is I've realized that doing this podcast is ruining how I listen to books because I'm just sitting here breaking down everything they say rather than just enjoying the story. I'm just like, wait, hold on, what about this? Wait, we have to discuss this. Like, it's gonna be years till we get to Power 3, but still.
you better start taking notes.
Yeah, of everything. It's like, oh, well, this is mentioned back in Into the Wild. Like, they literally have a few things that are like referenced from the first series, and they're mentioned like in pretty good detail.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of like, especially doing stuff like this. I feel like I've always kind of broken down books though. Like,
I've never done it this detailed. So much
The
notes.
series that messed up the way that I read, like every book series having gone forward from it, was the Gregor, the Overlander, the Underland Chronicles, Overland Chronicles, something like that by Suzanne Collins. Um, but that, like, I got to the last book at like the very end and I was like, oh, oh. I was like, well, that ruined literally everything moving forward
I have not read it.
in the best way.
Maybe
It's
we
so
can do a
great.
breakdown of that someday.
I would, I'd probably do the majority of the talking if that was the case.
Yeah. That's
The
why
book series is my muse.
you clearly need more notes, so I'm not doing 90% of the talking.
I know.
I'm
I'm
going
so
to lose my
sorry.
voice
You'll be fine. You
one
save
day.
it the rest of the week.
Yes. Well, I
Yeah.
also stream, so hard to say, but
Stop
um
screaming.
stream, not scream, stream. Wow. I mean, to be, that's actually also accurate because I normally stream scary games, so there is a lot of
Yeah,
screaming. But
exactly.
so we mentioned it last time, but I believe this cat is now officially. We said it jokingly, but people seem to love it. This is Fairy Tale.
I
I
love
know you
fairy
want
tale.
her as. I feel like she's Medicine Cat. I know you want her as leader, but she looks like a Medicine Cat to me.
I feel like the other one, Nettle Whisker,
Yeah.
looked more like a medicine cat.
Well, they'll have to fight it out. See, we'll
Kind of like
write
a
like fanfics of each.
kind of like a bark face kind of medicine cat.
Well, maybe.
Mhm.
We'll have to get backstories for each of them. But here is the third cat. I love this one. He's so
He's
pretty.
he's something else.
Well, it could be a she. I personally think it's a he. Very handsome cat is how I would describe him.
No, I would agree.
Yes, he is our next one. So we'll need some names submitted for him. This handsome boy. He could be leader. He looks very majestic.
Very majestic.
Yes.
I don't know, there's just something about like a tiny little like, white fluff ball with like a bright red tail and just like almost like a squirrel.
Do you realize how bad she would be at hunting? Because, like, with Cloudtail, for example, he's great at hunting in the snow because he blends in. But her tail is going to stand out. So, but during the, so like, when it's like summer, she's going to stand out for being a bright white cat. When it's winter, her tail is going to stand out. This cat is doomed unless she becomes a medicine cat.
I don't know. I would argue she's like a red squirrel. Those things are vicious.
Maybe. Poor Fairy
Yeah,
Tale.
travel to Pennsylvania at some point. They've red squirrels up there. They're mean little things.
All squirrels are mean, actually. But,
Oh, gray squirrels seem cool.
I feel like I'm forgetting something. Are we forgetting anything?
No, we went over, let's see, we did fan art, we did our deep dive conversation, we talked about all the cats, theories, stuff like that. And then we talked about our fairy tale. Is she gonna be the leader or the medicine cat?
And our
And
handsome
then
new boy. But yeah,
I
guys,
know.
if you want to submit names for these, you can either do it in the comments here, or you can join our Discord listed below. In which case, please send us fan art. Please send us theories, things you noticed in the breakdown. Help us name these cats again. And oh, I knew it. We were about to end it. I knew I forgot something. You tried to distract me.
I distracted.
Yeah, okay. We had a death mentioned this chapter, which means here is my newest fan art one. Oakheart, crushed by rocks. Mm-hmm.
Rip.
Very handsome boy.
Redtail also died.
But Redtail's death was mentioned last time, which is why I showed Redtail's
Oh,
last
true.
video. Yeah. That's why I was like, I can't do Oakheart yet because it has not been said that he is dead. We know he is, but it hasn't been said. So there we go. Oakheart, crushed by rocks, R.I.P. I'm sorry, I almost forgot you.
Do you think they held a vigil for him?
Yeah, because they say they got his body out.
Right after?
I don't know how long after. Maybe they had to dig him out. The
Uh,
poor pancake cat has been crushed by a rock. But yeah,
this is better than being crushed by a tree.
that's actually true. Depending on how pancakeified he was, it'd almost be inappropriate to like just have his body there. Like
That's
depending on
why I
how
asked.
messed up it is. Like they do it for Swiftpaw, and he was mauled by dogs.
No, that's yeah.
Because I think like when they describe it, they just hear like a rumble, then like a screech, and just his tail sticking out. So I don't know. Maybe God, let us know what you guys think. Did they hold a vigil, or did they just have to straight up be like, okay, his body is too messed up. We're going to scar everyone for life. Let's just bury him. But yes, on that happy note, um, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time for chapter 5. But
Woo!
yep, hopefully stuff picks up then. But yeah, have a good night. Farewell.
Ciao.